All right, Terry, I thought it would be best to just show you how I would approach your problem where you want to pick a couple of dates and you want to update a SQL database with it. This is a simple solution, actually. So we're going to put a couple of calendar controls on those on the display. And we've set them up so that we're just going to show the date format. We're not going to do time. Okay, and then we've got a button to pass the data back to XBasic. So let's look at working preview and see what this is going to look like. So you have the two calendars, you pick your start date, you pick your end date. We're going to pass the data over to XBasic. Now, right, let's look at the code that would be on the button to do that. And in this case, I'm doing an AJAX callback. We'll edit the action. We're going to call a function named set, start, and end dates right here. You see that right there. Okay, that function doesn't exist yet. And then after the callback's complete, we're going to bring up an alert that says everything's good. Now, what you want to do right here is create a prototype function of that function. So we'll do that, and Alpha will generate this with comments. This is good. You can look through this and pick up some pointers. I'll leave the comments in there for right now. No, actually, to clean it up, I'll leave it without the comments because I know what I want to do. But you can go ahead and play with that, okay? Let's go ahead and copy that to the clipboard. And now we're going to save that. And we're going to come back to our XBasic functions, and we're now going to just paste that in. So now this is our function prototype. This is for our server-side code, okay? And what we're going to do, just start out, it's real easy. Put in underbar debug 1, and we'll be able to see what comes back, okay? This is a debugger that's running essentially on the server-side code. Let's go ahead and save that. Go into working preview, pick the dates. So we'll pick the 1st and we'll pick the 7th, and we'll now pass the data to XBasic. And so now we're in the debugger server side, and you can see under e.data submitted. Now these I had already put in, so I knew what I was looking for here. But e.data submitted is going to be the values that were in the data bound controls, the data controls that were that were displayed. So we can see calendar 1 and calendar 2 both have the values that we selected. Right now, at this point, what we want to do is we want to use those values to update a SQL database. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll just run this and get out of the debugger, and we'll see our callback complete ran, and that's good, and we're all set. Now let's go into design, into our XBasic function. Just go down a little bit here, right click, and now go down to genies. And what we want to do is we want to launch the XBasic SQL Actions code generator, okay? And we want to do an update. So let's go ahead and pick that. And our connection string in my case is going to be a PostgreSQL database. The table is projects 2. The fields that I'd like to update here are going to be the start date and the end date of this project. And the values that I want to get the data that's in e.data submitted calendar 1 and e.data submitted calendar 2. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that in right now. E.data submitted calendar 1. I hope I spelled that all right. I think I did. Let's go ahead and copy that. Put that down here. Paste that in. Change that to calendar 2. And say OK. And the primary key, I'm going to update just the first record in this case. And now this code is now generated, so we can see what's going on. Now we need to modify this because if you notice where the e.data submitted calendar 1 and calendar 2 are as strings, and we don't want that. We want to actually use those values. So, but let's just copy this to the clipboard and say OK, OK. And then we're going to just paste that in here. And we're going to modify this. We're going to get rid of these quotes because we want to use those values, right? So here we go. We'll get rid of those. Come on, there we go. And we'll go ahead and save it. We'll leave the debug one in there so we can sort of follow through it. Now we'll just go back to working preview and we'll pick a start date. In this case, let's pick December 1st. And we'll end on the, let's go to December 24th. So we can see just we're going to be done by Christmas on this project. And we're going to pass the data to XBasic. And here we are, our debugger is launched, and we can see our eData submitted is 12/1/23 for calendar 1 and 12/24/23 for calendar 2. We're going to go ahead and just step through this code, make sure everything's working okay. So far, so good. That all looks good. It's going to execute the SQL now. And we'll update rows updated, and we'll see rows updated 1. So this is all looking good. Run it. Close that on out. Callback is complete. Now, if we were to go look at the data, let's see. I've got to go to the Web Projects Control Panel. I can go to Tools, and I'll go to our SQL Data Editor. And here we can see this is my Projects 2 database for my first, my primary key of 1. And you can see I've got 12/1/23 and 12/24/23. So we were able to successfully select some dates, pass those dates over into XBasic, update a SQL table with those dates, and it was really quite simple. So let's just to prove it out one more time. Let's pick another some more dates here. So let's say we're going to go to let's go to February of 2024, and we'll pick on the 1st, and then we'll say okay, our end date is going to be on the 23rd of February. All right, and we'll pass the data back to XBasic. We see those dates right here, and we'll just go ahead and run it because we know it's going to work. We're confident at this point, right? So now we're going to again go into the Web Projects Control Panel. We're going to go into our tools, our SQL Data Editor, and sure enough, we can see we've updated this table. So I hope that helps you out. I think it helps. I think it was an interesting exercise for me to go through. I haven't looked at this in a while, and it's amazing the power that we've got all wrapped up into this product. And just with a little poking around, you can do an awful lot of things here. So I hope that helps to set you on the right path to do what you need to do. Thanks.